Hi, my name is Frank Turner and you are watching Thank God for Jury Duty. So we're in DC tonight. It's going to be we're recording a song for the next album tonight actually, because of this was Josh Burdett's hangout, who's a good friend of mine, and he's no longer with us. So tonight's going to be a special show.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the show.
I heard about your first religious protest in November when you played Norfolk. What was that like?
It was great. It was very funny. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they just protest every show there. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure that they were particularly focused on me, although they did know my name and the name of the Sleeping Souls and stuff. So that was cool. I mean, if you grow up in the UK particularly listening to like metal and punk rock and stuff, kind of deep south religious protest is kind of part of the folklore of America as a place to talk, so I grew up sort of reading about Iron Maiden getting protested in the mid-80s because Number of the Beast or whatever, and so it felt like we kind of arrived to a degree, which was nice. But yeah, I mean they seemed pretty harmless to me. Yeah. It's kind of like the first time you kind of drive Route 66 or eat a cheeseburger in a diner or something like that, if there's an English person coming to America, it was like, we got a religious protest. Yeah, I mean, I'd hesitate to say that it's against organised religion per se. I mean, my grandfather was a priest and he was a wise and warm and loving man. And I think it's kind of slightly more kind of like existential to me. It's just, I have no desire to change anybody else's mind about it particularly. People are free to believe whatever they want as long as they leave me to believe in what I want to believe. But I guess I wanted a moment to kind of state my case on it, and to me, the point of the song really is to say that I think that the idea of a godless universe is actually quite a positive thing, and then that's even aside from the fact that I definitely think that the burden of proof is on other people to convince me that God exists rather than the other way around. But I mean, the idea of kind of like having a finite amount of time and in which to treat each other in a respectable and moral way is kind of more encouraging to me in a way than sort of positing the existence of afterlives and stuff like that. And yeah, I am quite a kind of optimistic person about human nature in a way. The line about things that mere mortals can achieve is that like I kind of every now and again somebody will kind of bring up that thing about like look at the European cathedrals or whatever, how wonderful they are and the things that people inspired by religion can achieve, or pretty much all Western art prior to the Enlightenment and that kind of thing. And it's kind of like, to me that doesn't prove that religion is good, it proves that people are great and people can do wonderful things, they just need inspiration to do them. And I guess, if God's one inspiration, that's fine, but there are other ones, How to grow, be an adult, yeah, be born and unfulfilled. Oh, but no one's yet explained to me exactly what's so great about saving 50 years away, something that you hate, but meekly shuffling down the path of mediocrity. Well, if that's your road, then take it, and it's not the road for me. I don't know. When I was a kid, I actually I played the harp for a while, and there's a story behind why. My mum, because I'm from a very middle class family, my mum got me piano lessons when I was a kid, which I was really bad at because I hated it, and I never practiced. And then they kind of kicked me off the piano lessons course, and then for about 6 months at the school I was at, there was this harp in the corner, and it was suggested that I might give it a try. So I played like the harp for 6 months, and I think I got like grade 1 harp. I can't remember anything about how to play the thing now, and I gave up because there was no way on earth that we could afford to actually like buy my own harp kind of thing. So, because they're insanely expensive. So that was the end of my harp playing career. And then I found the guitar, and everything was fine. Now it's getting round the ring, doing something brave, not just standing
Jumping in, turning circles into squares, playing down the path that's like a burden I can bear.
There are one or two, like I have a Texas tattoo here that doesn't really make any sense. I was just really drunk in Texas. And these days I've now kind of learned that if I'm drunk and needles come out, then I direct them to my stupid tattoo leg. So I've got loads of stupid tattoos on this leg. But I mean, I think the point is, one of the things I find interesting about tattoos and having lots of them is that you kind of get a lot less precious about what you look like after a while, which I find is kind of counterintuitive but interesting. I'm not really that bothered if I've got a bad tattoo.
I mean, is there like one that you wanted that you never got?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I'm planning on getting loads more. I'm actually working on quite a big back and neck piece at the minute, so I've been reading up on loads of Russian prison tattoo stuff lately, which is really interesting to me. So there's some of that stuff too. Yeah, I mean, I've got plans for many more. Endless crazy, that's all I really have in mind. Quite a lot of them aren't really sort of repeatable. I mean, yeah, I don't know, you know, travelling around the world and playing music for a living is quite an adventurous way to exist, which is one of the things that I like about it. It's pretty physically difficult to do at the same time. I mean, I don't know, my guitar tech is a guy called Kari who used to play for a band called Jet Plane Landing and a band called Fighting with Wire. And he is the single most deranged human being that I know, and having him on tour is kind of like being kind of strapped to a roller coaster all the time. So he's done a lot of crazy stuff. I always feel slightly kind of pseudy, kind of giving out advice because I'm not entirely sure that I know what I'm doing. But I mean, you know, there's all this sort of usual shit about, you know, work hard. I think being your own harshest critic is a good attitude to take in life as a creative person. I try and think of what's wrong with what I do before anybody else does, if you see what I mean. I guess one thing I wish I'd known a long time ago is that, and it took me a long time to figure this out, is that singing, songwriting and performing are three entirely separate disciplines that should be considered separately. Obviously the aim of the game is to bring the three together, and that's when, you know, you achieve something. But like, the art of entertaining a crowd is completely different from the art of writing a song, which is completely different from the art of you know, being good at scales or chords or playing guitar or whatever, and it's useful to consider the three independently. I mean, I was at university, and I enjoyed academia a lot, and I guess I'd probably be doing something in that world, maybe trying to be a teacher or something like that. I mean, I don't want to say that flippantly, like it's really easy to be a teacher, because I know that it's not, but something along those lines would be kind of cool, I think.
Why don't you guys sing?
Everybody's got their own approach to this life and their reasons for it. Personally, I just kind of, the thing that was interesting to me about punk rock as a kid growing up was the iconoclasm, the idea that the people who make the music are the same as the people who are listening to it, and that there shouldn't be this kind of almost like social divide between performers and spectators, and not least because if you, like in a real scene, you know, you watch the other bands, you know, and there isn't really a cut and dried line between performers and spectators. And so yeah, so that's kind of like a pretty key piece of philosophy for me. I mean, I don't, it seems boring to me to just like hide in backstage rooms I like meeting people. People are cool. And I do think that people are all, I'm quite egalitarian in the sense that I think I try and treat every individual that I meet with the same openness and default kind of respect as I would anybody else, you know. I don't want to prejudge anybody. Like in England, like a 10 and a 20 and a 5 in different sizes and colours. And like to this day, I struggle with American money because I can't tell the difference between a 20 and a 1. So that, I mean, just little things about like tipping culture takes a little while to get used to because it's much more prevalent here than it is in the UK. And people drive long distances over here. In the UK, if you don't play within half an hour's drive of somebody's front door, then they're not going to the show, generally speaking. I mean, obviously there's exceptions to that, but whereas in this country, yeah, I mean, as I'm sure you know, people regularly drive like 2, 3, 4 hours to go to a show, and nobody does that in the UK. But I think it's really cool. I think the other thing, there's loads of armchair kind of American theorising goes on in England and in Europe from people who've never been to America or at most have been to like New York or something. And I'm sure I was guilty of that when I was younger as well. And America is a much more interesting and surprising place than a lot of European people think it is who haven't been here. I love America, I think it's great, and just little things like, for example, there's this kind of like cultural stereotype that American people are rude. American people have much better manners than Europeans do, like so much better, it's actually kind of embarrassing, and that was quite surprising to me.
Are you talking about money? Do you still have your was it Dale Earnhardt credit card?
You know, I had to renew it, and I now have a generic NASCAR credit card. But I've still got my old Dale Earnhardt one. I've got it in a little, like, it's on my kind of wall of trinkets at home. Yeah, the internet is a good place to start, and there's a great website called Google, and if you stick my name in it, you'll find everything you want to find.
Mr. Benjamin Lloyd on the electric. Mr. Taron Anderson on the bass guitar. Mr. Matt Nazir on the keys. Mr. Nigel Powell on the drums.
My thought shows isn't straight and narrow. It wanders around like a drunken fellow. Some days it's hard for me to follow. But if you've got my back, I'll go on. If you've got my back, I'll go on.